Anniversary Field in Holyoke, Massachusetts. It's in the back of what used to be the Lynch School, and the field up there is the Anniversary Playground Field, the athletic fields. But you see a hill in the distance, and that hill is Crafts Hill. And so what people did from 1923 to 1965, they were able to walk from this field upwards, and there were trails up to the top of that hill. And on the top of that hill was a tower called the Walter Scott Memorial Tower. It was built by the WPA, or Works Progress Administration, in 1939 and finished 1940 to honor Walter Scott, who had donated the hill to Holyoke on its anniversary. Now, this hill has had a lot of use through the years, and one incredible use of it, it was the first ski hill for Holyoke. Sure, from 1960 to 1998, they had the Mount Tom Alpine area, but if you had come out here from about 1936 to about 1950, this was the place to go alpine skiing. On the very top of the hill with alpine skis, and it would come down in slalom fashion. And the run, we think, might have been about 1,000 feet or so. It would take about a minute and change to go down it. And they would start at a concrete ramp on the very top, and there was a dog leg at some point, and then they came downwards. When there wasn't skiers' turn to use it, there was also sledding. But at some point, sleds towards the south area. Now, in this area, you can see all the trees, but it used to be cleared coming down, so you could see the ski slope. Now, they did have a way to get back up the hill. They put an old abandoned car up there. They put a long chain around it, and the bottom they put it around a rim, and they would turn on the car, and the back wheel would start to turn, and the chain would move at such a pace that it would come down the hill, and the skiers could grab it on the base of the hill, and they could lift themselves up to the very top. It was a very primitive ski lift. It was incredible. And they would have competitions out here. Every year, the Holyoke Ski Club would offer competitions to not only the Holyoke people, but they would invite other communities to come and have competitions against them. That ski run left in the 50s. They went out to Blueberry Hill in the western part of Holyoke during most of the 50s, and then 1959, Mount Tom ski area started getting built, and in 1960 it was ready. So they had a really beautiful one with a professional ski lift and lights. Now, it would come down, you could see the hill, they would come down that hill, and they would go where the edge of the trees were in this distance here, and then they would go down where the houses were in the distance, and then they would come right down to where the fire station was. Now, the fire station wasn't there from the 30s and 40s, and so the skiers would have plenty of place to stop down here. So it was quite the run, and those houses weren't quite there either. So it was fairly wide enough, and it was quite long enough to be a pretty decent run. It wasn't very steep, but it was a good place to really get going. It was a family fun place. They tried the hardest to keep it free of ice, and that it was maintained by the Department of Public Works of Holyoke. All right, so what else did they have here? Well, at this park, there was one more very important feature. I told you about the hiking up and the skiing and sliding. Well, you can see in the distance, there's a big truck going by. Well, what's there now? Interstate 91 was planned in the early 60s, and by 1964, it was cut through this park, and it was ready in 1966. And so this park was cut in half by an interstate. And so the park became Anniversary Field on the bottom here and Anniversary Hill on the top. And the only way of getting up there from this area was going up East Hampton Road and going to the back road, which was dirt, up to the back of the tower. But there was also Community Field go that way up into Anniversary Field. and that became much more popular to do. And so this park started being a park only for soccer, baseball, football, and anything else up there changed drastically. People stopped going up there quite as much. Now, the state wanted to be nice to some of the cities of Massachusetts, and soon after the interstate came in 1968, they put a swimming pool on the top of that hill. Can you imagine that? And so it became popular for that, but it was hard to maintain, right? And it's a nice situation. It's too bad it had to get cut off, but at least this year, 2023, is the anniversary of Anniversary Hill. Its 100th birthday will be September 5th of this year, and on September 9th, we're going to have a walk up to honor a walk they had 100 years ago, where thousands of people started where we are and walked up that hill to the very top. There was no trees in the way, and they got a great view the whole time. Even if you go to the top now, it's very hard to get a good view. So thank you for coming in this town.